Nintendo Power. There's a bunch of Atari games back here. All the Star Wars. There goes a Taz. That one's sick though, look at that.
You buy that one off you.
What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Let me ask you a question. What's better than me taking you to an estate sale in one of my videos? That's right, not going to one, but to two different estate sales. We're going on a double date. You, me, and two old houses. Both of the sales that we're going to today were smaller sales. They didn't have a ton of items, but there were some hidden gems in these places, and I definitely wanted to show you. In fact, there's a bit of a sneak peek back there behind me. But I'll show you that in just a minute. For now, let's hop into the first sale.
Derek.
Nice to stretch my leg.
No, Angie? Nope. Ben. I can't read this.
So here we are at the first sale. I actually ended up being number 2 in line for this one. I got there a little early because in the photos they showcase a few different shots of retro toys like these guys right here.
There they are.
Are these all priced?
Grab these
Yeah,
guys.
they can all have little price tags on them.
I'll grab all these guys. All the Star Wars.
All of these Star Wars figures that I'm grabbing right here were priced at $2 a piece, and they were all vintage ones from the early 80s.
Cards. Whole stack of them.
And then right here you see me check out the AT-AT. It would have been a great pickup. However, they had it priced at 80 bucks, which was a little bit too high for me. There's not much profit margin there, so I ended up passing on that guy. And I finished up this first little area by grabbing the rest of the figures with their card backs over on the other side. Now before I show you these, I gotta share a little secret with you. I've never seen Star Wars. I know it's a sin, everybody flame me in the comments, but I have never watched a single one of the Star Wars films or any of the spin-offs or anything like that. However, I do know like enough about it to be dangerous, and I know which figures to look for from selling them often enough. So because of that, I'm not going to try and name all these guys. I'll just hold them up to the camera and show you what I got. So here we go. We got Fly Guy, Prison Guard number 1, his brother, the guys who miss all their shots, Trash Can on Wheels. I'm just kidding, I know that one's R2-D2. His brother, Orange Prison Guard, Space Pirate, another Space Pirate, Boba Fett, or more commonly referred to as Pew Pew Missile Man, Sidekick number 1. We got Lucky here, Sidekick number 2, another Sidekick number 2, Do a Barrel Roll, and the final two guys, the Headless Duo. Hopefully I didn't butcher their names too badly. And then there were 26 of their different card backs. And from there I moved over to the next section that was full of a bunch of vintage G.I. Joe stuff.
Yeah, I had an extra one in my car. If I would have known you didn't have one.
I got little ones. I was gonna bring that big tote in my trunk.
Yep. Make sure you grab the boxes for those two.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna put this good for, brother. I'm gonna grab that big track, and I think that'll be it.
Kind of want Command Center, but 125 is a little.
It's a little much.
Yeah. It does look pretty complete.
Unfortunately, I ended up having to leave that Mobile Command Center behind. It was an awesome piece, but at 125 bucks, again, there just wasn't a ton of money, but I did grab quite a few loose Joes. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then our last guy right here, you'll notice his legs fell off, but that's a really common problem with older G.I. Joes. The O-ring on the inside just gets dry rotted and breaks. It's really easy to put a new one in. You just open up the back and reattach it, so that'll be easy, and then he'll be as good as new. I didn't notice any super rare G.I. Joes. Obviously, you guys will have just seen comps popping up, but off the top of my head, I didn't see anybody super rare, but at $2 a piece again, I wasn't gonna leave them. And then actually down here under the table in this little basket of cars, I ended up finding a few more smaller figures. I think they're from Mask. I'll start popping up comps on the screen right now. So a bunch of little miscellaneous figures right there. And then I moved on to some of the bigger stuff, some of the vehicles.
Got this guy. 20. He's cool. I think I'm gonna grab him. 46 on that one. 50. 30, that's not even priced. 40 bucks on the Hammerhead. Looks near complete. I think I'll go ahead and grab him.
This guy right here, this Hammerhead G.I. Joe vehicle, ended up being the most valuable pick from the sale. I did pay 40 bucks for it, but like I said, it looks like it was near complete. It is missing the 2 front turrets right there. Otherwise, everything is all good, and this should go for right around 150 bucks. And like I said before, there were a few other vehicles there that I wish I could have got my hands on. I would have bought them all if they were priced low enough, but I didn't end up picking them up because of the prices they were asking. There just wasn't a ton of profit to be made on a bunch of them. And then aside from all that action figure stuff, there was only one more thing that I ended up picking up from the sale right over here.
Oh, look at here, a little Game Gear. That's fun. There's a bunch of Atari games back here. I don't see anything popping out at me though. There's only a few Atari games that I look for. The rest is all junk. I might grab the Game Gear though. He's always got problems, but 18 bucks ain't bad.
So I did end up taking the chance on the Sega Game Gear. I figured even if it doesn't end up working, I can usually get around 25 bucks, so I'll get my money back on it. And if it does work, it'll be a nice little profit. So I did put batteries in here, tested it out, and the screen does work fine, so that is an awesome score. And with that, that wraps up the first sale. But we're not done yet. Remember, this is a double date. I got one more estate sale to show you guys, and I got some equally awesome stuff at this next one. It's not toy stuff, but it's still really, really cool. Let me show you.
Garage.
Yeah.
You say Ken?
Dan, yeah.
And Dan.
Ben.
Yeah.
Oh, Dan, Andy.
Dan. Andy and Ken, everybody just coming.
So here we are at the second estate sale, and what drew me into this one was a few photos of what appeared to be a ton of vintage clothing. And as you're seeing here, I wasn't the only one drawn to the sale for the vintage clothing. There were quite a few different resellers there trying to get their hands on stuff, including 2 viewers, and it was awesome to meet them. They ended up getting some really good stuff as well, but I ended up grabbing quite a few nice pieces.
That one's sick. You can feel free to squeeze behind me, man. Don't worry about touching me.
As you're seeing in the footage, there was a ton of really cool stuff on these racks. There's a ton of vintage Chicago stuff, Bears, Bulls, Cubs, and a bunch of other stuff as well, including this guy, which is a piece that I'm keeping for myself.
Nope. That one's sick though, look at that, Ren and Stimpy. Damn.
You buy that one off you.
That'll be my personal one.
That piece right there is just too cool to let go. I'll show it to you here in a little bit, but anything vintage Nickelodeon, I have a bit of a soft spot for, and I want to keep it.
There you go. There's one. I didn't see the Bulls one though. There we go, there's a Taz.
Taz?
Yep,
Wow.
that's a cool one.
I got one too.
Did you get the Bulls one?
There was a bull. Is that the one on that? I don't know. I don't think it was up there.
And as you're seeing, I was grabbing a ton of different stuff and my bag was filling up really, really quickly. Unfortunately though, everything in this bag did not come home with me. When I got upstairs and asked the lady running the sale the prices, she had this to say.
How much is clothing? That's what I got a lot of right now.
So the Cubs t-shirts and Bears t-shirts are 10,
Okay.
and
Other stuff, just play it by ear. Okay.
yeah.
That works.
So as you just heard, she was thinking like $10 a piece for anything Chicago, and a bunch of the Chicago stuff I got was probably worth around 10 to 15 bucks, so not a ton of money to be made. Plus, if there were stains and stuff, it just wasn't worth my time, so I ended up putting a bunch of the Chicago stuff back, and she was also charging up for the Harley Davidson stuff, and she wanted $20 a piece for each of those, and I only ended up grabbing like one Harley piece because of that.
Stain removed how much? 140? Okay. Let's see if I can do that. 10.
I got a paramedic and a nurse.
13. So that's roughly just over 10 bucks a shirt. How about like 120? I'll do 130. That's fine. That's fine with me. Do you take card?
No, we are cash.
So as you just heard, we ended up coming to a deal of $130 for 13 shirts that I ended up picking up, so it came out to be about $10 per shirt. And let's go ahead and start with my favorite shirt of the haul, the newest addition to the wall behind me, the Ren and Stimpy shirt right here. Yeah, let's get a close-up of this graphic right here. Look at that. It's super clean and really, really good shape. And look at that thing. That is just too freaking cool. It's dated 1992, it's single stitch, and it's on an Anvil Red Bar tag. But for now, it's not being sold. It's hanging right there in the backdrop, cause it's awesome. And speaking of cartoon shirts, here's another really cool one, the Betty Boop motorcycle tee right here. This thing is dated 2001, and just look at that graphic. That's another really clean graphic. And like I said, cartoon stuff is really hot, and Betty Boop has a pretty decent following, so that is a nice piece to find. Oh, then we got another little cartoon piece right here. We got the Woody Woodpecker Got Coffee shirt by Universal Studios. This one right here was just a funny one. It's a throwback to like the late 90s, early 2000s. We got that little kid who was on the back of everybody's truck. It's the Ford logo peeing on the Chevy logo. Ooh, okay, then we got the first Chicago piece that I ended up keeping. This is the Chicago Bears number 81. I don't know who that is. I'll have to look it up. But it's dated the year 2000, and it's a tie-dye sweatshirt, so that should sell well. Then there was this brand new Wild Card Chicago Cubs shirt from 1996, and that one's on the Lee Sport tag. Here's one of the two Harley pieces that I ended up grabbing. This is a 1995 Harley Davidson. It's just in really good shape. It has a really good graphic on the back, and it's Harley Davidson Racing. Then we got our first Taz piece here. This isn't a huge hit right here, but it does have the Taz hit right there on the chest for the Chicago Bears. But the better Chicago Bears Taz piece is this one right here. Look at that graphic. That is freaking cool. What's this one dated? It's dated 1996 right down there in the corner. That right there is just such a cool graphic. Looney Tunes stuff always does well, and Tasmanian Devil is one of the most beloved characters, so this should sell out of my store very, very quickly. Then we got another vintage Chicago Bears piece. Whoa, and then we got our second Harley Davidson piece right here. This is the better one. This thing was just super cool. That graphic on the front is awesome, and it is by Funwear down here in the corner. Unfortunately, this one isn't dated, but other Funwear stuff that I've seen is from like the late 80s, early 90s. So a long sleeve piece like this with a nice hit on the sleeve should do really, really well. And the final clothing piece that I ended up picking up was the Chicago Bears sweatshirt. You can see this one just has an awesome little orange and black thing going on in the front. It's by Jostin Sportswear, and again, this is probably going to sell really, really fast just based on that pattern. And then the final thing I got was the only non-clothing piece thing that I bought at the sale, and it's the only video game related thing that wasn't just like an empty Xbox case. This Nintendo Power strategy guide for Super Mario 3 on the NES. It's not in the best condition, but look at some of those pages in there. That is just a throwback to nostalgia land, man. Those are some awesome, awesome graphics in there. And that's it. That's everything from those two estate sales. Got some awesome retro toys, got some awesome vintage clothing. These two sales, like I said, weren't very big, but they had some hidden gems. And let me know down in the comments either what was your favorite thing that you seen me grab today, or did anything catch your eye, or did you pick up anything recently from a sale yourself that you want to share with me? I would love to see what you guys picked up as well. Otherwise though, that's going to wrap things up for today. Hopefully you learned a thing or two. If you did enjoy this video, please go down low, smash that like button for me. It really does help me out. And while you're down there, see if you are subscribed to my channel. It'll keep you up to date whenever I post a new video, and I would really appreciate it if you did subscribe. Either way, I hope to see you in the next one. Till next time, keep on treasure hunting. Peace.